When did you first become aware that he was not breathing?
When the nurse came in and said he's dead.
Revealing testimony tonight about the death of a French man inside the county jail. For the first time, we hear from corrections officers about what really happened inside this cell.
This is News 3 Nightside with Jim Snyder and Nina Raditich.
Good evening, everyone. Philippe Lemon died January 4th after being restrained inside the Clark County Detention Center.
Now, nearly 2 months later, a jury will determine if 9 prison guards acted appropriately. It's what's called a coroner's inquest. News 3's Kim Capozzo has been following this story from the beginning. She joins us live from the Clark County Courthouse. And Kim, through this inquest, it's been going on for quite some time now, but we now know a lot more about what really happened.
We know more, but it was a tough day for family members. They say it's hard enough watching the surveillance video, but listening to corrections officers tell their story is unbearable. It's a story that has no happy ending.
The inmate, or Mr. Lemon, say that he could not breathe.
Would you describe the color of his face?
Dark purplish blue.
Is he alive?
He did not have a pulse.
It was only 5 minutes, but it wiped out a life. And now these corrections officers are left to explain why they used force to restrain this inmate.
He was just moving us around like rag dolls around the cell. We just couldn't get him controlled. We couldn't stop his movement, and we couldn't force him down to the ground.
This officer admits to punching Philippe Lemon several times in the face. He says it's a common use of force method to distract combative inmates.
Let's go beat him up, you know, that's better. That's the way we deal with people. We punch him in the face just to distract him. That's what I've heard tonight.
Lemon's cousin, Philippe Moreau, is disgusted after a long day of testimony. He says bottom line, his cousin needed help, but instead was beat up. He wants the officers involved to pay a price.
And my cousin is dead, okay, and I can't imagine, I mean, just imagining the way he died, it's awful.
After spending 12 hours here today, jurors are expected back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. There are still 5 more witnesses that they have to hear from, but a judge tells us we should have a verdict tomorrow. Reporting live, I'm Kim Capozzo. Nina, back to you.
Kim, thank you. Speaking of verdicts, jurors can decide between 3 things: whether Lemon's death was justifiable, excusable, or criminal.
In another high-profile case, the defense did everything it could to try and stop the trip, but it didn't work. Accused murderer Margaret Rudin was in Phoenix today, hearing the first testimony in her upcoming trial. Rudin is accused of killing her millionaire husband, Ron. The actual trial doesn't begin until Monday, but today those involved heard testimony from Ron Rudin's ex-wife, who was too sick to make it to Las Vegas for the trial. That's why this happened in Phoenix. Margaret Rudin's attorney tried to cancel that trip, but the judge wanted to get this testimony on the record now. Jury selection for the case will start Monday morning, and the trial, we're told, could last up to 2 months.
For the 4th time this month, a Clark County School District employee is arrested for having sex with a student. Tonight, we have new information about 38-year-old James Gabrielli, the teacher arrested this morning in California. News 3's Beth Fisher is following the story and joins us with an update. Beth?
Gabrielli plays in a local band called Purge, but this weekend the band was performing in Escondido, California. Well, police say Gabrielli invited his student on the trip and that he might have gotten away with it, except, according to police, security guards caught the two having sex in a parking lot.
It's a sordid script you'd expect to play out on the big screen.
Teachers should know better.
But this real-life story has this Western high school teacher in serious trouble after security guards at this California Holiday Inn claimed they caught James Gabrielli having sex with his 16-year-old student in the parking lot.
It appears to us that the mother believed her daughter was on a school field trip to Escondido. One of the school clubs had a conference here in Escondido.
You have a teenager and you have an adult. I mean, the adult knows better. The teenager is just out on a whim.
We caught up to students and parents outside this movie theater who can't believe this is the 4th arrest of this kind in a month.
What a bad reputation for the school district, you know.
Mojave High School teacher Jeremy Green, Burkholder Middle School teacher Newell Levitt, and Las Vegas Academy Theater manager Michael Vicious all arrested for sexual misconduct with a student. Now, James Gabrielli allegedly caught in the act.
Morals. Some teachers are out of control, some students are out of control, morals are not intact. That's a major problem.
A problem parents aren't taking lightly.
We try and stay involved with them, you know, with their school and their activities, and we try and get to know all their teachers and know what's happening.
News 3 has learned James Gabrielli has a wife and a child. We were unable to talk to his wife tonight, but we did talk to his band members. They were supposed to be back here in Vegas to perform tomorrow night, but they've canceled that show. Band members tell News 3 they had seen Gabrielli with the girl, but they had no idea she was 16. They won't say whether they think Gabrielli indeed had sex with her, but the group has dropped him from the band. Nina?
Beth, thanks for the update. The girl was put in protective custody until her mother could fly down to California to pick her up. She is expected to return to Las Vegas tonight. Gabrielli will face felony charges in California for having sex with a minor. He may also face charges here in Nevada.
Students and parents from J.D. Smith Elementary School are mourning the loss of one of their own, a little boy run over and killed yesterday while he was walking home from school. Police say 12-year-old Stephen Alshouse stepped into the crosswalk at Eastern and Searles and was run over by a truck making a right turn. Today, after news of the accident spread at the school, several parents went to the school to pick up their kids. It was a very emotional day for Stephen's classmates.
Like, when she called, she was telling us how did he die and did he die, and then I still didn't believe it, and then I saw everybody crying. So I said, is it really true? And then I was like, yeah. And then it hurt me inside, too.
Police say that boy followed all the traffic rules when he was hit. So far, no charges against the truck driver, but the investigation is continuing.
Does a zero-tolerance policy on guns in schools go too far? That's what one Valley family is wondering tonight as school leaders decide whether to expel an 8th grade student. 13-year-old Heidi Bortel is in the middle of expulsion hearings after being caught with a toy gun last night at a K.O. Knudsen basketball game. Under the zero-tolerance rules, anything that looks like a gun could be grounds for expulsion. But Heidi's family says it's obvious this toy gun was a toy.
And I'm going, but you're going to do this because of a orange plastic gun? I don't know. I'm hoping somebody will use some sort of intelligence, some sort of restraint, some sort of discretion about other consequences.
Some kids do think it's pretty cool to bring guns, real guns to school. And to tell you the truth, I am scared of them. You know, I would never bring a real gun or anything towards real to hurt anybody.
Those expulsion hearings will continue Monday morning. We did speak with school administrators earlier today, but they couldn't comment while that case is ongoing.
They followed him everywhere, watching his every move. But just who was following Councilman Michael McDonald, and why? Last night we told you how McDonald was under surveillance by an undisclosed law enforcement agency. Tonight, see for yourself how those undercover officers operated. As Anquinette Moon shows you now, McDonald videotaped them in action.
Single car parked behind his house for hours.
You see there's nothing around there.
The same set of headlights he's seen every day trail him down a deserted street.
They're making it very obvious that they were following me.
Even at his girlfriend's apartment in a gated community.
So they started pacing back and forth.
They watch and wait, even slowing down so Councilman Michael McDonald can get a better view and a better video of the men watching his every move.
And you can see, he makes no bones about it, that he knows that I'm there.
And sometimes he would go places and they'd already be there, waiting for him.
This is in front of my parents' house.
And this is when McDonald decided it was time for the watched to become the watcher. He walked up to the car, flipped on a flashlight, and that's when this undercover officer took his job quite literally.
The driver has covered himself with a blanket or jacket.
But the driver makes it even harder to hide when he hits the panic button by mistake.
Where the horn sounds, the light starts flashing. So at this point, all the old neighbors from my neighborhood start coming out.
You can see binoculars, a camera, and clothes in the car. As the driver cowers behind the wheel, McDonald videotapes it all, then walks away. And he says this was the last time he was tailed. Anquinette Moon, News 3.
McDonald says it's hard for him to believe professional officers would follow him in such an obvious way. Remember, he was an officer on Metro's force before he was elected to the city council. In fact, his lawyer doesn't think that they were officers of the law at all. Metro says it wasn't them. They won't say who it was. The FBI won't comment.
US 95 is a mess tonight after a garbage truck spilled its load all over the highway. Cars are backed up as crews clean up the sludge. US 95 between Tropicana and Boulder Highway has been shut down for hours, forcing motorists through a detour. The Nevada Highway Patrol expects to reopen the road shortly before midnight. A seatbelt could be to blame for the death of NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt. Investigators now say Earnhardt's lap belt failed during the collision in Sunday's Daytona 500. One doctor says if the belt would have stayed together, the driver would have had a much better chance of surviving. Earnhardt's crew chief says they've never had a problem with lap belts before. Meantime, Earnhardt's wife is addressing the public for the first time through an ad in the USA Today newspaper. Teresa Earnhardt wants to thank racing fans for their support. The next NASCAR race is this weekend in North Carolina before the circuit comes here to Las Vegas. A special tribute is planned at both speedways for Dale Earnhardt.
Could your next-door neighbor be a convicted sex offender? If he or she is, you might never know it.
The Crime Tracker 3 team found some serious problems with the state's sex offender notification system. What's being done to make sure your family is safe? Have any changes been made since we first exposed the problems? Don't miss my Crime Tracker 3 follow-up next.
I'm Rick Strasser. We keep hearing rumors about Rick Pitino coming to coach at UNLV. Now we hear more rumors about how long he'll be here. I'll have that later in sports. Plus in weather. Wait a minute, I don't know anything about weather.
Actually, I do know a little bit about weather. We dodged the bullet this afternoon, but we do have another system that's cranking up, and it will affect our weather this weekend. And Secret City, here's the clue. The National Railroad Museum and Hall of Fame is located in this city. I'll have the answer to that in your forecast. That's next on News 3, where news comes first.
My name is Erin Saddam, and I've been a bonds checker for 10 years.
Hi, Erin. How are you?
Good, Miss Haley. How are you? I figure I'm here to help you get the most out of our store. If you don't know about a buy one, get one free, I'm going to tell you about it. You buy soda every week? I'll let you know when you should buy a case. How about coupons? We've got thousands of discounts every week. If you don't have your Bonds Club card out, I'll ask you for it. Did you guys have your card today? You're going to save money with that card, and I'm going to help you. And look how much you save. I want to make sure you save. That's my job as a checker.
Go! What? Let's go! What? Open the door! What was that? Go! Go!
Presenting the limited edition Jetta Wolfsburg with 5-speed sport suspension and turbo. For when you need that sort of thing.
You're an idiot.
At Joe's Crab Shack, we must know everything there is to know about shrimp. We've gone shrimp crazy with 10 entrees under $10. There's Joe's Shrimp, fish and shrimp, shrimp scampi, and popcorn shrimp. That's right, we're celebrating our shrimp expertise with 10 mouth-watering shrimp-filled platters. Now that's something to smile about. There's Joe's Shrimp Pasta, Shrimp Combo, and Lemon Pepper Shrimp. So hurry in for Joe's 10 under 10 shrimp specials going on right now. An overabundance of shrimp that's way underpriced. Only at Joe's Crab Shack.
Chrysler and Jeep vehicles continue to receive more and more and more awards. And now it's time to reward you with the Chrysler and Jeep Rewards program. Now for a limited time, get 0.9% APR financing on select Chrysler and Jeep vehicles. Reward yourself today with one of our award winners. And that's better than carrying around any trophy.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Rayleigh's, the stores famous for fine meat and produce.
You're watching Southern Nevada's #1 choice for news. This is News 3 Nightside.
If a sex offender moved in next door to you, you'd find out about it, right? Probably not here in Nevada. Last year, the Crime Tracker 3 team found what many call serious problems with the state's sex offender notification laws. We uncovered a paperwork backlog that allowed hundreds of sex offenders to live in our neighborhoods with no chance that anyone would be notified. Now, a year later, we followed up to see if some of those problems have been fixed.
Unfortunately, the court sees these cases over and over again. This is probably about as most severe as I've ever seen.
It's sentencing day for Russell Cohen. He's pled guilty to having sex with dozens of teenage boys, but this isn't his first offense. Cohen lived in this Las Vegas neighborhood for 5 years. No one here knew he'd been convicted of 2 previous sex offenses until after he was arrested for his new crimes, and we told neighbors last year.
I think they need to get up off their butts and pay attention to what's going on to avoid things like this from happening.
If you didn't come over here now, we never would have known anything about it.
No one knew because the Crime Tracker 3 team found a state paperwork backlog kept Cohen's criminal history a secret. Although Cohen did register as a sex offender, he was one of at least 700 offenders whose files had piled up at the State Division of Parole and Probation. The offenders were all waiting to be evaluated by the state on their risk of offending again. And until that happened, no one had a chance to be notified about their past crimes. Now, a year later, things appear to have changed. Grace George is with the state's Criminal Records Repository in Carson City. She says a new combined system has cut the sex offender backlog in half and says when one more employee is hired, that backlog should be eliminated.
It's a big concern. I mean, community notification is a very important part of this process, letting the public know if there's people around them that could cause them some concern. So yeah, we do assign a high priority to that.
Despite the improvement, some of Russell Cohen's victims and their families say some of the same problems still exist. Backlog or not, right now in the state of Nevada, there are only 16 offenders who qualify as the worst of the worst. And that's the only time a neighborhood like this would get notified that an offender was living here. But in many states, everyone with internet access is told about sex offenders, because on websites like this, you can search through sex offenders' names, addresses, and pictures. Now Nevada may be one step closer to letting you do the same. Grace George says as soon as a state computer database of sex offenders is completed, the next step will be to put that information online. Lawmakers have already approved internet access, but right now you'd still have to know some information about the offender before you'd get that access. However, Senate Judiciary Chairman Mark James says that could change.
So if we find that it's not effective or it's not, the utility isn't there for people trying to use this to, for proper means, then maybe we will revise it in that way.
Meantime, sex offender Russell Cohen will likely sit in a Nevada prison for the rest of his life, as his victims hope for any change that would help prevent another criminal like him from striking again. One reason state workers say it's so tough to keep the sex offender backlog in check is because they say more than 100 sex offenders are added to it each month, and every one of those must be evaluated before anyone would be notified.
Here's Rachel now with Secret City on a Friday night.
That's right.
We
have
got
the
our almanac out.
That's right. Tonight. That's right. We've got the map out, and here's the clue. There are a lot of hornets in this city. A lot of hornets buzzing around. Think
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Yay! I see. I knew sooner or later I'd give you a good clue.
Thank you.
A lot of hornets buzzing around in the city. Oh, love that little box turn graphic we just did. All right, we've got the Rio camera checking out lovely Lady Las Vegas. That looks like New York, New York to me. And it's cool outside. The temperature is 48 degrees. Oh, the Monte Carlo. Hello. 48 degrees, humidity 25%. The wind out of the south at 8 miles per hour. The barometer 29.75 inches of mercury and rising. 48 degrees, yeah, a little cool. Here's the situation. We've got high pressure building in over the Silver State very briefly tonight into tomorrow. And then another system, a storm system, is going to pick up some steam and organization from the Pacific Northwest, dive to the southeast, and hit us on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, which means we have a chance of rain on all those days. Not very fun, but the truth. All right, 31 degrees right now in Reno, 27 in Tonopah, 49 degrees in San Francisco, and temperatures a little bit closer to home, coming up like so, 23 degrees right now up on the mountaintop, 47 in Spring Valley, 50 degrees for my friends in Laughlin. And elsewhere around the nation, a low-pressure system ejecting out of Colorado, lifting on off into the central portion of the U.S., snowfall and rain, freezing rain as well. If you're headed that way, you might want to call ahead and see whether or not your plane is going to be on time, delayed, or even canceled. 58 our high today. Your sun will rise tomorrow at 6:18 a.m. We're going to fall back to about 44 degrees in the next couple of hours, 39 degrees by sunrise, 53 by mid-morning. Tomorrow's high, 59. You saw the normal high for this time of year, 65, so obviously not quite making it. Increasing clouds, a little bit breezy in the afternoon. Out at the lake, you'll fall back to 40 and top out at 66. Up on the mountaintop, you're going to fall back to 12. You're at about 23 right now. That might be pushing it. 39 degrees will be your high tomorrow. For the next several days, here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like, as I mentioned, unfortunately. Chances of showers Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and the upper 50s. Not great. Have a little light jacket, keep an umbrella handy, and you'll get through it just fine.
Okay, good advice.
That's my advice.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yep.
Just ahead on Nightside, going the extra mile to save some feral cats.
We'll have an update on the roundup designed to keep those cats out of harm's way next here on News 3 Nightside.
The Lamps Plus Crazy half-price days in sale. Hundreds of items at 10 to 50% off.
Half off? They must be crazy.
You ever seen a guy this relaxed around here? I didn't think so. How'd I do it? Sprint Yellow Pages. I use mine at home to find all this dad stuff. And a pager, so my wife could page me.
Okay, Dad. Where's the wife?
Find almost everything you need in the Sprint Yellow Pages. The best red Yellow Pages.
You bring your wife?
You'd never know they're from the same family. Some are laid back, stylish, reserved, outgoing, and although there are hundreds and hundreds to choose from, they have one thing in common. They all come from a good home. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries.
You've always been there to comfort me, to give me an arm to cling to. Happy anniversary, sweetheart.
The Lazy Boy Furniture Gallery's anniversary celebration. With low prices on a truly amazing selection, what's not to love?
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
You don't have to be Washington or Lincoln to get presidential treatment. Qualified buyers get a $1,000 President's Day bonus or 0.9% APR financing on a new 2001 Chevy Impala. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details. That's our little birthday gift to you. Big shot.
I just needed a salad bowl.
So I brought her to this new store called House to Home. She got the salad bowl. Oh, and then I found the most perfect curtains to pull it all together. And the most stylish new picture frame for the corner. And a fabulous bicuspid Hamina.
Jamina.
Oh, whatever.
House to Home. Everything for inside and outside your home. Plus a very good cup of coffee.
That's a lot of shopping.
Towels. We'll redo your bathroom. I'll be right back.
I'll get you a decaf.
House to Home, the incredible home decorating superstore.
Volunteers with the Humane Society rescued more stray cats near a demolition project today. The abandoned homes where the cats have been living were demolished this afternoon, as you can see here. Since Tuesday, volunteers have been trapping the feral cats. There were about 40 animals living in the colony. The cats will all be spayed and neutered. Some may be adopted. Others, they may have to just re-release. Either way, neighbors in the area are happy to see the cats are being rescued.
Up next in sports, pressing new developments surrounding the Runnin' Rebels, soon to be Patino's team. Rick Strasser has the latest.
Plus, it's the grand finale of Operation Basketball, the state finals. Coming up next in sports here on News 3, where news comes first.
Later on an all-new Tonight Show, Kathy Lee Gifford finally gets back at Jay.
You should be spanked.
You know, that's very good the way you do that. Yeah. Plus, Dark Angels Jessica Alba and which classic TV star will be crowned champion in the final round of Hollywood Survivor? Could it be more exciting? Then on Conan, Ted Danson, and SNL's Chris Kattan, all new tonight.
December 1994. Las Vegas millionaire Ron Rudin reported missing. April 1997. Wife Margaret indicted for murder, but she's nowhere to be found. 2 years later, Margaret Rudin's arrested for killing her husband. Now, the murder mystery begins to unravel in court. News 3 reporter Kim Capozzo digs deeper into the secret life of Ron Rudin and the public life of Margaret. Learn the whole story behind this millionaire murder mystery. Monday on News 3 at 5.
The Tobin Dodge Superstore is on a mission to clear out an entire Dodge inventory at once. It's a Tobin Dodge exclusive. Get 0 interest and make no down payment on any Dodge. Operation Liquidation. Seize the opportunity at the Tobin Dodge Superstore, #1 in Nevada for a reason.
All our kids are sports nuts. Michael and Brendan play football.
Maggie and John play basketball. Tom also coaches football.
With this many family members driving, we need to have a good auto insurance company. And we do. We have American Family.
Fantastic agent, fantastic service. It's a secure feeling because we're always on the go.
Thank goodness they drive themselves to practice.
All your protection under one roof.
American Family Insurance.
NASCAR thunders into town March 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It only happens once a year, and it's the largest sporting event in Nevada. Call 644-4444. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the single largest event in Vegas, as 250,000 people feel the rush of high-speed racing. See the world's greatest motorsport stars and experience a Super Bowl atmosphere. Tickets on sale now. Call 644-4444 or log on to tickets.com.
At Tobin Infinity, your possibilities are endless. Camry, Maxima, or Accord buyers can now experience Infinity for the same monthly payment. Satisfaction without boundaries. At a special Tobin price. Experience Infinity at Tobin Infinity.
Welcome back. At the beginning of the Operation Basketball season, Bishop Gorman was supposed to win the state crown. At the end of the Operation Basketball season, it was supposed to win the state crown. Tonight, the Gales had the chance to repeat, taking on Western up in Reno. The top-ranked Gales won all 3 of the previous meetings this season. Western looking to take down the Giant first half. Brandon Weaver's pass, picked by C.J. Watson, goes in for 2 of his game-high 17. Gorman by 14 at the break. Second half, Warriors go on a big run. Patrick Stinnett the steal on one end, Jam on the other. Then Stinnett out to Weaver for 3. Bottom, tied at 36. Move to the fourth quarter. Stinnett driving inside, finds Tim Day for the easy lay-in. Warriors suddenly up by 7. Gale storm back. Justin Burns the steal. He would take it the distance, go in for the jam. Gale's down just 5 inside of a minute to play. Burns, he will take it inside, misses the finger roll, but gets the O-board and the putback. Gorman back up 1. Final 20 seconds. Stinnett doing it again. Drives to the baseline, puts up the jumper that goes down. Western by 1. 6 seconds left. Warriors by 3. Last chance for Gorman. Denard Taylor, he'll get the chance for the 3, but it goes off rim and no chance for another shot. It's the upset of the year. Western takes down Gorman 64-61. The Warriors getting it done in the one that mattered the most.
Coaches told me to go to the basket, and I was wide open for the jump shot, so I just took the jump shot.
We should have beat them all season. That's the only thing we was worried about, and we did it. It feels great because when all that blood, sweat, and tears, all that, it pays off. It pays off.
In the past few days, the rumor mill has been spinning a little faster about Rick Pitino coming to Las Vegas. Well, now we know that he could have an official offer, and it could be voted on by the Board of Regents by Thursday. In a report 2 days ago from the Hunter News and Sports Group, Pitino's salary with all the incentives and deals came out to about $1.7 million per season. But today, the organization tells News 3 that it will be a minimum of a 5-year deal, which is a big collegiate contract. One university regent says the salary could be even higher with new clauses.
I think it's very important for all future contracts for coaches to have the academic clause in there, because we're not here just to win, we're here for students to graduate. And the current trend across the country is to include a clause that says if the students do well, student athletes do well academically, the coach will also get bonused.
The Board of Regents is scheduled to meet on Thursday. A contract will need to be offered to Pitino by Monday for the vote to be on the contract to be on Thursday's docket. Well, while the rumors continue to swirl about Pitino, Coach Good and the current Rebels embarked for their final road trip of the season and final road trip for 6 Rebel seniors. Because of the NCAA sanctions, there will be no postseason play for the team. So when the Rebels play at San Diego State tomorrow night, it will be the last time in the dark jerseys for 6 seniors. With all the rumors and outside distractions, it's been a tough tough road this year.
Things were frustrating, you know, at a certain time, but, you know, I'm not going to look back now and say, you know, my senior year has been disappointment. It's frustrating, you know. I just rather look ahead of all the things I can do.
It's one of those things that I think over the long haul, it makes you stronger and better as a person. And I just hate for the players to have to go through this. As a coach, you know, I don't know if anything could condition you for the kind of year we have gone through. But nevertheless, I don't regret any of it. And I'm just looking forward for these last 3 games with these guys.
They've got a lot of pride out there, and with Coach Good, you don't know if that will be his final 3 games, even if Patino comes or not.
He's class act, though, all on the way.
It has been the whole season, absolutely.
Thanks, Rick.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
Fresh. Fresh as a golden glow on a Sunday morning. Or the winds on the waters of Bodega Bay. Fresh as the blush on a juicy California peach. Or a cool breeze over sun-soaked fields. Fresh as fresh can be. Because your family deserves the very best, the freshest choice is Raley's.
I like to ride motorcycles.
I'm the executive chef. Whatever it is you have an interest in, DirecTV gives you a lot of options.
Great programming for everybody.
Pay-per-view events.
Disney Channel, Animal Planet.
Love stories.
Over 225 channels.
We watch whatever he wants to watch.
Please. Digital picture.
The sound quality is great.
DirecTV has a lot of cooking channels.
A show about motorcycling, we have to watch it. Walmart is the place to buy DirecTV.
The prices are good.
Sure, low all the time. I'm looking at how I can get a dish outfitted on my bike.
Chrysler Sebrings continue to receive more and more and more awards. Now it's time to reward you with the Chrysler and Jeep Rewards Program. For a limited time, you can get 0.9% APR financing or a $1,000 cash allowance on select Sebrings. So reward yourself today. Drive home one of our award winners. And that's better than taking home a trophy. See your Chrysler dealer today.
They say Foster Farms chickens eat real healthy. You know, corn, stuff like that. I heard somewhere your diet can actually affect how much energy you have. Do you believe that?
Foster Farms, always natural, always fresh.
And now for something dramatically different from Dodge. The all-new Dodge Grand Caravan. Simply put, it's the best minivan ever from the people who invented the minivan. And now with low 0.9 financing on most caravans, you'll find that different may actually be even better. Dodge Caravan. Different.
It's almost March. That means it's time for the Rattlesnake Roundup. Yeehaw! The world's biggest Rattlesnake Roundup kicked off this afternoon in Sweetwater, Texas. Snake handlers demonstrated their courage or stupidity, depending on how you looked at it, as they handled the western diamondbacks. They also showed how to milk the snake. Oh, that's when you get the venom out of the fangs there. Look at that. Isn't that nice? We'll leave you with that picture. That should help you have sweet dreams. As
We are out of here. Enjoy your weekend on that note.
Good night.